Hello again. My name is Tony Davis. I am a couples therapist here in West Hollywood, a licensed marriage and family therapist. And in this video, I want to talk about betrayal. This supports my recent blog article called Why You Should Expect Your Partner to Betray You, which is somewhat provocative, but I promise you my goal was not just to provoke, but more to offer perhaps a sense of relief, since it seems as though the fear of betrayal is something that many individuals in relationships feel very influenced by. So I wrote this article simply because I wanted to reframe how we think about betrayal, um, and offer couples some uh, reprieve from the idea that a betrayal is a make or break situation, uh, most usually a deal breaker for a relationship. So, what is betrayal? Well, in my book, betrayal is the breaking of shared relationship agreements. The problem is that oftentimes agreements are not made in relationships. They are implied or assumed, generally, uh, and pulled from the culture, such as, we won't have sex with anybody else, um, or emotional feelings for another person. Um, we will always think first of our partner, and et cetera, et cetera. What I find is that relationships and sexual desire and love are all way more complex than either or arguments. And so I used an example that we all tend to betray each other on a regular basis, and it really doesn't make a big deal, such as um, the very simple example of somebody stealing a moment of our time, is an example that we all steal, and in a way, a betrayal could be as simple as thinking of something else or checking our phone while our partner is talking to us, while we're nodding in agreement or kind of mumbling a yes or an aha. Um, Now, the thing is, we all do this. This doesn't mean that we're not interested in our partner, that we don't love them, that we don't care about them, that we don't find what they have to say important. It just means that we're human, that our brains are often pulled to distractions. Um, in most conversations, we tend to go in and out, and we don't even notice that as far as our attention. You'll notice that your eye contact with somebody who you're speaking with comes and goes, and that's not a bad thing. Um, so, if you can look at betrayal as being on a spectrum, um, it you might find it more useful for your relationship, rather than uh, either being on one end of a pole or another. When it comes to sex, that seems to be the biggest betrayal. Uh, it can be helpful to look at cultural stories around outside sex, cultural stories around romantic love, monogamy. What exactly does that mean? And if a couple is to succeed in their relationship around sex, it's critical that they be able to talk about sex, their expectations, um, their desires, their fears, their fantasies, not just once at the beginning of a relationship, but kind of as part of an ongoing conversation between them throughout the time that they're together, because these things change. You know, um, romantic love often looks very different after 10 years than it does after 1 month. Sex can look very different. Uh, these things can serve different purposes depending on the time that we've been together. And in this sense, um, the idea that we are finding some of our needs met outside of the relationship doesn't have to be um, a downside for the relationship. It can actually be a benefit. Sometimes it's helpful for us and useful and beneficial to get a sense of an experience of ourselves um, in front of another person or with another person. But what I always stress in a relationship is that in order to avoid this causing a problem, you have to be able to talk about these things with your partner. You have to be able to bring up new desires or new curiosities that you might have, even if they're just thoughts, um, maybe something that you would never do, maybe just an idea. They can bring you closer because I guarantee you that if you're thinking it, it's likely that your partner has thought it too. And this can reduce shame, it can increase closeness and trust. And I've helped many couples to expand the boundaries of their relationship agreements in a way that actually uh, does exactly that, brings them closer and builds trust. And not only that, but the benefit is that it helps them to um, grow and develop as an individual. Now, am I somebody who advocates and encourages the opening of boundaries and the expansion of boundaries? Well, um, only if that's what the couple is interested in exploring. Uh, but if a couple is not interested in exploring that, then we still have to have honest conversations about how they're going to deal with changes in desire, changes in needs as time goes on. In other words, how can they expand the boundaries within their agreement um, to be monogamous, for example? You know, so um, that's what I wanted to say in this video is that betrayal used to be a deal breaker, and now it's something to be avoided by having honest conversations with both yourself and your partner. And in that sense, you may find that betrayal is not as scary as you thought it was. It can actually be an indication that a conversation is due. So I hope you find that helpful, and I appreciate you watching.